Thanks, Chris. Kia ora koutou katoa, talofa lava. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for coming here to be a part of this conversation. We've got about 80 minutes. It's about the length of a game of rugby, but we're going to do it netball style and break it into quarters. And a part of, well, there are two main things that we're looking for from tonight. It's for you to be participants in a collaborative dialogue, and then I'm going to ask you to analyse that and consider what from this process could we take into our communities. One thing that I've learned from the best part of 5.5, 6 years in this pressure cooker community response that's been happening around Greater Christchurch is that often we're dealing with highly complicated and complex things. And what's been useful in the communities that I've had the privilege of working with is that if you can simplify those, including the use of visuals, and I'm aware that you won't be able to see this so well, but just so that you can see that one. There are black and white versions on the tables in front of you. We did want to print them in colour, but the budget, we're just trying to stretch it as much as we can, which is why we've got 45 people. Thanks, Jason. That's why we've got 45 people here playing something electronic. Thanks, bro. So we have this visual framework, and it's a framework that I know that some people in this room have seen at least once. Some of you have participated in these processes 2 or 3 times. So some of you are really familiar to me, some of you are new faces to me, and it's a privilege to have this time to facilitate with Daisy. What I want to do is just help you understand, well, what is this nice picture? It's a picture that has 5 or 6 domains in it, and I'd just like you to understand what they are. At the base of the picture, and if you can see this, that's great. If you can't see it so well, you can see it on that window, and you've got the black and whites in front of you. At the base of the picture, that represents where you are standing or sitting right now at this point in time. And the space leading up to that is really the backstory. It's the past that you bring with you, it's the identity and history that you carry with you. Out on the horizon, and that is a planning horizon of time, there's a golden cloud. And that represents the vision or the aspiration that you have for your community. On the left-hand side, there is a landscape that's surrounded with red, and that represents the barriers, the risks, the things that will inhibit you and your community from getting to that vision, that aspiration that you have out on the horizon. On the right-hand side, it's surrounded with green, because that is where the enablers and the supports for you exist that will help you get there with your community or get there quicker. And up in the sky, what we're well aware of in Greater Christchurch is that there are not only local trends that are rapid and emergent because of what we've dealt with, there are also national and global trends that are happening as well. And for some of you, you might remember just being completely, your field of view was narrow and shortened, and you had to deal with what was happening on a day-to-day, sometimes an hour-to-hour basis. A part of this is to encourage you to widen that field of view, bring every hat that you wear in your lives, and have that as a part of your thinking. So there is the where you are now and the history that you bring with you. There is the vision out on the horizon. There are the barriers and risks in your context. There are the enablers and the supports. We have these trends and things that are happening around us which haven't quite yet landed, but will. And then you have the path itself. And the path represents the journey that you and your communities will travel on. And ideally, you'll travel together. Does that make sense? Come on. anyone got any questions on that? I'll come back to that at the end, and I'll just explain some of the science behind it. For now, though, as long as you get that, that's all you need to get. So with that, Daisy.
Awesome. If I can have every eye closed in the room now. So every eye closed, and I'm just going to give you, say, 15 seconds to think about one leadership experience in the past 5 years that was a real turning point or that really stood out for you. One leadership experience in the last 5 to 6 years that really changed or shifted something for you. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Have your eye this way, thank you. Awesome. When I say go, in pairs, you are going to, person A in your pair is going to share that experience. You'll have 5 minutes to share that experience. And person B, as you're listening, you're going to grab one of these baby post-it notes. And in that 5 minutes, I want you to really listen to what kind of themes kind of stand out in your partner's leadership experience. And if you can write 1 to 3 words, if you were to sum that whole 5-minute spiel into 1 to 3 words or 1 to 3 hashtags, what would that be? And when that finishes, the end of that 5 minutes, then you're going to swap, and person B is going to share their leadership experience, that turning point or something that was really memorable for them. And person A, you're going to listen and write 1 to 3 words on the post-it notes. Does that make sense? Awesome. Right, in pairs, person A, if you can take 5 minutes to share that leadership experience for you. Awesome. Such an awesome energy in the room. Hopefully you've had fun listening to your partner recounting a leadership experience that had a major impact on their lives, and that you've synthesized that into just 3 words on one little baby post-it note. I see some of us have like a whole essay on 3 different post-it notes. Just 3 words. All right. Thank you. Awesome. When I say go, we're going to, hopefully this will work because it's quite crowded in here, but we're going to whip around the tables, and what you're going to do is you're actually going to share your partner's post-it note. Just give a bit of a heads up, or just share with your table what stood out for your partner, and share those 3 main points that came out. And as everyone's going around the table, if you can just make a note of and see if there are any themes that kind of emerge or that kind of are consistent throughout your whole group. So you're going to whip around the table, everyone's going to introduce your partner and perhaps a bit about their story. Not yet. Thank you. And as you're listening, just maybe highlight or underline whether there are any recurring themes. All right, so go. So what we're going to ask you to do now is everyone's kind of shared leadership experience that has had a major impact on you. You've shared your partners to your table. Hopefully you've seen some common themes emerging. What we're going to ask you to do is for every table, if you can grab that size post-it note and a marker, and if someone who's not in the Link program could do the writing, be our scribe for this. And what we'd like you to do is give you a couple of minutes as a table to kind of identify the top 5 common themes in your leadership stories. Just 5, and on the one note. So we've done the pair thing where we've shared our turning point leadership experiences. We've kind of whipped around the table, and then we've kind of seen where the common threads are. We're going to shift our focus now, and if I can draw your attention here to the horizon part, you can see it here or in front of you on your pages. And the horizon is just a beautiful metaphor of something in the future. So if we could give that scope perhaps 9 months, so 9 months from now, this is our horizon, something in the future. 9 months from now, on the last working day of 2016, that horizon asks the question, what does success look like for you? So what does success look like for you? And what we're going to do is... So before we start, what we're going to do is... What's really cool about Link is that in all of our frazzled and busy lives with the multiple hats that we put on and how complexly interwoven everything is, what I really loved about doing this last year and going through this process was it actually allowed us time to just pause and actually think about what does success look like for me, or what does success look like for my community. So we're going to shift this kind of us talking in our groups, and this is an individual exercise where I'm going to give you just the space, just to pause and just to think. In 9 months, when I clock out, in that last day in December, what does success look like for you, for your communities? And if you can start with having all these big pictures, but if you can synthesize that, again, down to this baby post-it note, and to perhaps three things of what success would look like. So this space, this quiet space is just for you, whether you're going to process that or visualize that, and then once you visualize what success looks like for you, if you can synthesize those massive dreams into this baby post-it note. So we started where we are today in terms of a turning point in our lives, and perhaps what might have shifted for us on our leadership journey. We've just lit the sky up with everyone's vision for the future. 9 months from now, I heard someone chuckle on that side, what would 9 months from now look like? And so Chris and I just had a laugh, maybe we're all pregnant with potential and possibilities.
What's going on?
Someone on this side. Awesome, and so that's everyone's picture here of what does success look like, and whether that was for yourself or for your community, we kind of left that open, just provided that space for you to just dream ahead. I'm going to hand it over to Chris now, who's going to carry on with the other parts of this visual. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Daisy. And I'm going to go home to my wife, Leanne. I love it. Thank you for the energy and for the just the way you participated in these 2 steps. We've got 2 to go, and they're going to be a bit faster. Third quarter of the netball game is going to be a table exercise. So I would like a person at each table to volunteer themselves to take the pen and to listen. And the rest of the group to facilitate yourselves around your tables to identify what you consider to be the 5 biggest barriers or risks to your success, to achieving that success. So the 5 biggest risks and barriers, and the 5 biggest enablers and supports that exist. Straightforward task. 5 risks and barriers, 5 enablers and supports, and I'm going to give you 5 minutes. So put some pressure on. What I would like to do is just take a little amount of time and invite one person from each table to read out one of the barriers, one of the risks that you identified as a table. So just to stand up and share that one. And if you're at a table and a previous table said it, you need to go to another one on your list. So you need to be listening. Where are we starting? So guys down that end, We're starting down this end. So if our first person could stand and share the one risk or barrier that you've got. Okay. We have funding. Kyla?
Poor health.
Poor health.
Well-being, stress, burnout.
Thanks, Kyla. Jeff, your table?
Your own perceived limitation.
Their own perceived limitations? Time.
Ignorance.
Ignorance.
Bureaucracy.
Bureaucracy. Oh, everyone's moaning.
Diverse community.
Diverse communities. Compliance. Compliance.
Apathy.
Apathy.
Yeah, couldn't care less.
Also known as couldn't care less.
Isolation.
Isolation. Thank you, Margaret.
Last one left that means resistance to change.
Resistance to change. Thanks, Rosalie. Procrastination. Down the back. Misunderstanding. Table at the front.
National government.
Okay, 2 to go. Courtney, who's at your table?
Resourcing?
Resourcing. Thank you, Michael.
Not a problem.
What do you got, Dave?
Difference of values.
Different values. Okay, it sounded like just reading the body language in the really popular ones that were existing in a number of your places. Can we go in reverse order? Dave, starting with you. What is one enabler or support that you identify at your table?
And sector partners.
Sector partners.
Yeah, sector partners.
Thank you.
Let's go with favourable policy.
Favourable policies? We'll go with that.
Community well.
Community.
Well, like
The community's willing. Cool.
We had passionate energy, but I just wanted to say passionate energy. That might get a laugh.
Passionate energy.
Passionate energy.
All right.
Yeah.
Everyone's smiling. Okay, there's the passion table, everyone. Sponsorships.
shared vision.
Shared vision.
Ethos and values of culture.
Ethos and values of culture.
Teamwork, but also my teammates wanted me to say cake.
If you didn't hear that, there was teamwork and cake. Support network. Security.
Earthquake Memorial Holiday for a week that's paid.
Did everyone get that? That's an Earthquake Memorial holiday that is paid. For a week. In Christchurch or overseas? Trust.
Sorry. No, we can go
Belief from others as well as yourself.
Belief from others.
Champions.
champions,
Education.
education,
Core members.
core members. So having those people who are the glue, key people. Nice. Could those people who share the barrier and risk come up and put their post-it on the left side of the board, and the enablers and supports on the right-hand side?
Mili, patia. And then I'll say that again, patia. And then I'll say loa pati, which means two claps. So loa pati, loa pati. And then the next one, you kind of have to be a little bit more coordinated. So it's tolo tolo fa, and it goes. Let's try that. Tolo tolo fa. Sorry about it on the first go. All right, and then someone's like to say, tangi mele taika, and so you have to do your really cool tiger face, and so you'll go, rah, all right? So, let's go, tangi mele taika. And then, I don't know why Samoans say it, we don't have any in Samoa, but they say tangi mele buffalo, so do your best buffalo face, we tend to go like this and go, ooh. Okay, tangi mele buffalo, ooh. And then the last one, tangi mele snake, and you're gonna go, kss. All right, tangi mele snake. Awesome. Let's take that from the top. Mili. Patia. Patia. Loa pati. Loa pati. Total fa. Tangi mele taika. Tangi mele buffalo. Tangi mele snake. Awesome.
Right, in the language of facilitation, that's called a state change. What I'd like to do, just to close, is to let you know what the next step is when you're doing this process. But before I let you know that, we'll just go back and look at what you did. So if you could step out of being a participant in the process, think back to what we did and how we did it. To start with, in peers, you listen to each other. You listen deeply to try and understand what was most important about your leadership experience, and then you shared it at the tables. So in short terms, you paired and shared. So that's what we did at the start. Then we changed the process, and we gave you an opportunity as an individual to just quieten things down and reflect inside. So it was an individual reflection, which you see up in the top half. Then you work in groups under a bit of time pressure, which is quite huge. You try and come together, you're under the pump. You're given a deadline, a decision, a proposal, you're under the pump. And we produced, I think we could have given you an hour. I don't think you needed an hour. I think 5 minutes probably produced a 90% accurate barometer of the barriers and the risks and the enablers and the supports. And so that leads us to the next step. So you leave here tonight, you go home, say hi to your wife, your husband, your friend, your partner, whoever, the dog, the cat. Wake up tomorrow morning and you're on that path. And you will have things from tonight in your memory. They'll either be front of mind or they'll just be sitting in there that you could draw on at any time. So the path is the action plan. It is the next step. And tonight has been about a whole range of people who have never met each other before. You will never come together again in this group with these same people again. And this is the documented history of the conversation from tonight. What we could do then with a bit of time is to synthesise, have a closer look at what's up here by thematic analysis or some other process. You could write a report and deliver it to a funder as a part of a proposal or a report back. We don't need to tonight because that's not what it was about. It was about making connections, reflecting yourself, sharing with another person, sharing in a group, sharing with over 100 people. So we're about to finish this. I'll leave this up here because some of you might be interested in taking a digital photograph. We've got a camera here. In doing this, when you reflect back later, you'll be able to see your contribution to what is a co-constructed vision of success. Surrounded by these elements and a path that is there for you to walk on with others. So you've been participants in the process, just giving you a little primer about reflecting back on the process you've been through. On the practical side, this picture, for those of you in Link, I'll just put it up as a digital file, and if you want to put it on a pen drive and go and print it off and use it in your community, use it with, I use it with young people in primary schools, especially boys. I find that the visual, kinesthetic and storytelling aspects really work for young adolescent males. So in terms of intellectual property, I'm not concerned at all. You take it, if you think this would be a valuable tool, just grab it off Basecamp and share it around. What I'm also really pleased with is the process improvement comment that's been suggested under here, which is how about Kahikatea Totara Ringu Matai Miro, getting some Indigenous just mindful, do I put it on the green side and the red side? Yeah, so with the recognising Rata Foundations here. Okay. So from Daisy and I, thank you for your participation, and we'll pass over to Chris.
Yeah, and just a big thank you to you guys.